we get to hand out Buckeye Leaves one last time. So let's do it. Let's start with our offensive player of the game, Chris.
Oh, I've got to go with Will Howard. There's a lot of ways you could go, but I thought that Will just played a tremendous game. He did everything asked of him, whether it was with his feet or with his arm. Came out, I believe he secured that top passer rating in a single season of all time for Ohio State yesterday
He did.
with just a tremendous, highly effective performance. I got to go Will.
I'm going guy I haven't gone all year, Quinshawn. 3 touchdowns,
Yep.
120 yards. I was between him and Donnie Jackson, but I've given it to Donnie Jackson a couple times, so I'm going to go Quinshawn because honestly, most of the time lately it's been Trevion who's been the highlight player. This time it was Quinshawn.
I went with Will Howard. I've kind of steered clear of him a lot this year when it came to player of the game, and I'm not really sure why.
I think it's because it's easy to give it to the quarterback. I mean,
Yeah.
every game, Will's been so good most games, it's easy just to give it to him. I get it.
Yeah, but I went with Will Howard. He was on fire. I think he broke
Yeah,
a
he did.
record for most consecutive passes in a row to start.
Mac Jones record. Yep.
Not just, and think about this, guys. Not only was he extremely efficient, but man, that throw to Jeremiah Smith
Mm-hmm.
at the end of the game
Clutch.
was so clutch.
Yeah. Yep. All right. Let's go with our defensive player of the game, Chris.
Oh, man, this one was so tough.
It was.
Because there's so many ways you can go. The easy way would just be take Cody Simon because Cody had the most tackles in the game. But I think there was a lot more to it than that. I'm going to take a guy who actually got beaten on one instance, but I'll tell you, he really played a solid game overall, and that's Sonny Styles. Second on the team in tackles, had a sack, a tackle for loss, and he was all over the place. So
I'm going with JT. Had a really nice game.
he did.
In fact, a lot of people were saying that JT should have got the defensive player of the game. But I mean, Cody's not a bad pick. Obviously, I didn't think anybody stood out dramatically like we've seen in the past few games. Like Texas, Jack Sawyer was a pretty easy pick, obviously. But this is one of the few games where I thought Caleb didn't have his best game of the season. Normally, he could easily go to him even without the stats because of what he means to the defense. But I think JT had a really nice game.
Yeah, 5 tackles, 2 tackles for loss, one of which was a sack. Give me JTT, man. And how fitting that the big 5-star do everything West Coaster, who we were thrilled to death when he got here, had one of his better games.
The whole staff bought Hawaiian or Samoan shirts or whatever.
They all met him at the airport with their Hawaiian shirts on. I'm going with JTT. All right, your offensive play of the game.
I went back and forth between two of them.
Yeah, me too.
I'm going to take Jeremiah's clutch catch on third down, set up that game-winning field goal. So I'm going to take that one.
It's got to be Jeremiah Smith. I mean, well, here's the underrated part about that play. Obviously, Will Howard. First of all, Travion getting the block up in the middle, and with the blitzing safety, Will making a great throw. Just step back, not worried about the pressure, making the throw, and then Jeremiah Smith, selfless, smart, just to make sure he caught the ball and didn't fumble or lose it because Gray was going for the strip, and Jeremiah said, "I don't need the touchdown. I just need to keep the ball and get down." And we're going to win this game. So all aspects of it it was just a complete team play. So that was the offense play of the game.
Yeah, it was, but there's a lot of people saying Judkin's 70-yard run, and I agree. That was the other one I flip-flopped back with. And since you guys went both of you went that way, give me Judkin's 70-yard run. That at that moment when that was happening in my head, I was seeing Zeke running through the heart of the South in my head, man, and what a beautiful scheme that was. You got everybody going one direction. He cuts it back against the seam. There's nobody there. And this was all set up because Emeka Egbuka had run that sweep several times, and they thought, here he comes. They get him going in one motion. You get the block on the line cutting in, and there's a gap there the size of the Red Sea that Moses made when he lifted his staff, man. And that was a huge. So I'm going to go Judkins 70-yard run. D-Rock Irish thing. Thanks, man. That's classy of you to come in and say that, brother. Appreciate you. All right. This one, guys, was really tough. Defensive player hit of the game.
I'll tell you, I'm going to take the one that I think was absolutely pivotal.
Hold on 1 second. Offensive play of the game. Getting an offensive holding call finally.
Facts.
I think it's defensive play of the game.
Go for it,
Okay.
Chris.
Defensive play of the game. I got to go to the third and goal pass breakup by Jordan Hancock. That set up
The field goal,
field
right?
goal that got
Yeah.
missed. And that really changed the momentum of the game because this was a Notre Dame team that really was starting to build momentum at that point. So for that, I think Jordan Hancock deserves it for that pass breakup on third goal.
I think I'm going to go with the same play because, again, there wasn't a lot of plays to choose from in this one that were just like standout wow plays. Yeah, that play was pivotal, and it obviously, in hindsight, led to a missed field goal. So they got nothing out of that drive because of that.
Okay, my defensive play of the game was actually the second to last one when we had 3 defensive linemen just running around in that second, and just the jubilee of the defense. You know, when they make the stop and the time's running off, that was my defensive play of the game. I know it's kind of anticlimactic, but I just felt like at that moment you knew you had won the natty, right? So that was my defensive player hit of the game. That being said, guys, that's the last one. So that tells me we have officially our first Buckeye Award finished and ready. Would you like to know, folks in the chat, who accumulated the most Buckeye Leafs this season from us? Put your guess in the chat right now. Put your guess.
I
Who
got a pretty good
accumulated?
idea.
All right, who do you think it is, Chris?
Jay Fielding.
Yeah, you know, if it's offensively, I feel like it's got to be either Will or JJ.
Pick one.
Let me go JJ.
Okay, you picked JJ. All right.
Will Howard.
You picked Will Howard. You both picked the top two. But by let's see. So by 3, he won by 3 Buckeye Leaves. Jeremiah Smith.
Wow.
Jeremiah Smith is the winner of.
Is he the first freshman to ever win it?
Yeah, he's the first freshman ever. CJ Stroud won it. Man, I have to go back and think about it now. I think, did Marvin Harrison win it one year for us?
I don't have the
Justin Fields.
So I'd have to go back and look at the old show notes, and I don't even know if I've got them back that far.